Hey guys, this is Torno. Today we are going to be talking about the Lost Caverns of Ixalan commanders. Primarily the precons, because one of the questions that I've been getting after my previous video the other day talking about which one I think you guys should buy and which one, like going through the pros and cons of each, was which one is the strongest? Because one question that people always ask is what are the strongest precons to get and, that need less upgrading or anything like that. And I will admit in my previous video, I was slightly wrong about one of these precons. So before we get into that, I do want to remind you guys to subscribe. If you have a look, we've got 1.2% of our watch time coming from subscribers, 98.8% coming from not subscribers. So make sure you do subscribe. Our aim is to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of November. If that's going to be bonkers. Like if we can hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of November, that's going to be crazy because, we can start, getting monetization from there. We can start growing the channel even more. I'm really looking forward to kind of working with you guys. We also have a poll over on our community page on YouTube as well, if you want to go over that and let me know what kind of videos you would like to see. We've got gameplay, we've got best commanders and precons, which is what is winning, which is hence why we're making this video, the best commanders / precons, and then getting started with MTG and what to and not to buy. So we're going to go through these and I'm going to talk about, each of them a little bit, and then I'll tell you guys which is the strongest one for you to grab. So first of all, Admiral Brass, all about playing from the graveyard here. When she enters in, you're going to be milling 4 cards away, and then you're going to be able to return a pirate as a 4/4 with a finality counter on it. Now, obviously, all of these decks are pretty strong. You've got some pretty good things. You do need to upgrade the land a little bit here, and there's some other creatures in here that probably will suit better. All of them, can use some upgrades, and I'm not going to say, that they're not. However, one of them needs less upgrades. The Ahoy Mateys one is pretty decent from the get-go. Having Brass, being able to mill those 4 cards away and then be able to return a pirate's pretty good. If you add some kind of like blink stuff in here, it's going to be pretty decent. And honestly, this is a pretty good precon. The Blood Rights one, I would probably say is the second strongest. It's got some really good bones in here. I don't personally agree with Clavelno being like the primary commander here. I think that Carmen obviously is just better. I like her a lot better. The gaining the life whenever you sacrifice something, and then whenever she attacks, being able to bring something back, similar to Admiral Brass. However, hers is anything that is where to go. Anything that is equal in mana value to her power or less. So, you can bring some other stuff back in here with like Brass. If something's above a 4/4, then technically if you're bringing it back, then you're nerfing it. There's nothing in here that's really above a 4/4, but it does kind of, potentially limit kind of bringing things back or, some kind of upgrades for it. Meanwhile, Carmen can bring, anything back as long as it's mana value less than her power. So you've got some really cool things here, especially because of the fact that when she sacrifices, even with 1 sacrifice, she's going to be a 3/3, which means, anything with 3 CMC or less, you're going to be able to bring back, which is really, really nice. Personally, I think that the Blood Rights one as well is just really great with upgrades. You can easily add in a couple kind of infinites into that if that's the kind of thing you like. If you don't, go ahead, don't. There's some big kind of cost upgrades that you're able to add in here, like the Phyrexian Altar and stuff, to be able to do some decent sacrifices. I hope it's Phyrexian Altar. My brain's a little bit fuzzled at the moment. But, be able to sacrifice some more, to be able to add in some more mana and everything. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can kind of upgrade in here. And I do think that Blood Rights is going to be the second strongest as well. The Velociraptor one, I think as well, similar to Blood Rights, is that Waiter is just a better kind of commander for it. The whole, versing and fighting your own creatures seems to be like the secondary theme in here, but it also is just incredibly strong. Being able to, verse and have all these enraged dinosaurs in here. Pantalazza's about cheating things out, but then, if you discover something that's like a low CMC, then it's going to kind of screw over it, and you can only do it once per turn. don't get me wrong, Pantalars is fun and definitely going to be an incredibly strong commander in my opinion. However, you know, Waiter is just going to be able to proc a whole lot, be able to do some really nice stuff, especially because, you know, any of these enrages are going to proc twice. Any of the enrages, which there's a lot of different enrage things in here. Again, you know, all three of these are really strong. These are all really strong precons, and I do think that they're all worth getting. I think that it's worth kind of looking at what flavor do you like? Do you like the flavor of dinosaurs and kind of, you know, getting out some big dinosaurs or making like How to Train Your Dino? The Blood Rights one, you know, do you like sacrificing your stuff? Do you like, you know, gaining up health and stuff? Or, you know, Ahoy Mateys. Now, for the strongest one, Explorers of the Deep. You know, when I initially saw this, I think that I kind of underestimated Huckball a little bit, but Huckball kind of makes this insane. Like, Simic doing Simic things. Every time at the beginning of combat, you're going to explore, and then whenever he attacks, you can put a land out there. So, you know, you're just going to be able to ramp every time you attack, every time you explore. You've got the option of, you know, getting a whole bunch of cards into your hand, or, you know, putting those +1/+1s out there. And then in the kind of deck, you've got a whole bunch of stuff in here to be able to, like, branching evolutions and hardened scales. So any of the +1/+1s get increased as well. You know, a whole bunch of different, like, card draw in here. You've got, like, where is she? Like Tishana, who scales off of how many cards are in your hand, and because of Huckball, you're potentially going to have a lot of different cards in your hand. There's lots of really cool things that kind of can come from this deck. Now, after playing with it, and like after seeing a whole bunch of, you know, videos from people playing with it and stuff, it's just, you know, sheer card advantage. You know, you've got, you know, options to be able to get rid of things as well, like, you know, a board wipe there with the Wave Goodbye. You've got, like, you know, the Curse of the Swine, another board wipe as well, being able to kind of exile away people's characters. You know, there's lots of really good stuff that you're able to kind of use, just built directly into the deck. From the box, the Explorers of the Deep is just a really great deck. And the other thing is that in the actual, like, in the boosters as well, like in the Ixalan boosters, there's some other stuff that can kind of go and support it, like the Deep Fathom Echo. At the beginning of combat, it's going to explore. So it's going to explore from its own trigger, as well as explore from Huckball's trigger. So it's going to be explore 2 times. Then it can also have the option of becoming a copy of any other creature you control until the end of turn. At the end, so it can going to be able to become a copy of something. So then if you've got something that, you know, deals damage every time you attack or something like that, you've got that. You've got, like, you know, Nick Ansel as well is in the base set, I believe. Yeah. Nick Ansel being able to get a +1/+1 every time you explore a non-land card onto herself. You know, the Seeker of Sunlight here that you're able to just, you know, pump extra. Like, if you've got a whole bunch of extra mana, you can just use the Seeker of Sunlight here to be able to pump that out with, you know, 2 colorless and 1 green to make her explore. And it says activate as a sorcery. You can do this multiple times if you've got a whole bunch of different like mana that's just kind of sitting there, because, you know, with Huckball being able to put out extra lands, you're going to have a lot of potential extra mana there, which is really, really nice. Like, you know, it seems kind of bonkers strong, honestly. You've also got, like, the Simic Ascendancy as well, being able to put, like, the +1/+1s onto Simic Ascendancy and then, you know, potentially win the game. Another, you know, another win con in here. Because it's whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put onto a creature you control, put that many growth counters. So it's just like a, you know, an extra kind of thing that's going to be able to tick in there. The Explorers of the Deep, honestly, I think that, you know, the land base needs to be kind of played with a little bit in here. And, you know, there's some options in here that you can kind of upgrade a few things in there. But honestly, it's just going to be crazy strong. I've seen people who are taking on, you know, other precons, whether it's the precons from Lost Caverns or the precons from, you know, any other precons, or, you know, upgraded precons, or, you know, full decks. And, you know, this is just insanely strong. The other thing that you can do is chuck in a roaming throne. I've got this roaming throne that's still sitting here, so I can show it off, because nearly every video I'm talking about roaming throne, but that's because roaming throne makes it, you know, first of all, you can turn a roaming throne into a mermaid, into a merfolk, and then from there, you've got so many extra triggers in here. It's going to make Hakbal be able to drop an additional land, or additional draw card. You know, the +1/+1s here. You can draw an extra cards from Bethic. You can, you know, 1, 2, you know, 3. Like, there's so many of these cards that have triggered abilities. Like here, you can pay 1 to create a 1/1 blue merfolk token. You can do that twice then. So you can create, you know, more merfolk. You've got the evolution sage here. Whenever a land enters, you can proliferate. So you'll be able to proliferate twice with this evolution. Oh no, not with the evolution druid sage. I'll say not that one because it's an elf druid. There's no way to be able to. Oh, it's not a merfolk. It's like the only merfolk that's not in here. You know, there's just a lot of cards in here that you're going to be able to. Even this one here. The legendary creature, the Kapala. I believe that this is a triggered ability. I think that's Ward 2, isn't it? Like it's the original talk. I don't know if it will affect Kapala, but you know, there's just a lot of different cards in here that Roaming Throne is going to affect. As soon as you chuck a Roaming Throne in here for a start, that's just going to be a huge upgrade. You know, there's just it's a deck that is I'm talking about upgrades now, but just out of the box, this is going to be one of the strongest precons that has ever come out, in my opinion. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit there, but I don't think so, personally. Like, you know, there's lots of really great cards in here, and just, you know, even in regards to the reprint value in here, you've got some really decent kind of reprinted cards in here, like the Branching Evolution there. You've got some of the Merfolk in the original base that were like, you know, pretty decent as well. Like, you know, there's some decent things overall in here. And, you know, I think if you're looking to pick up just one of these decks and you're looking for the strongest one, then Hakbal and the Explorers of the Deep is going to be option. But it's up to you as to which kind of one matches your flavor as well. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.